we suffer most of the time because of our unwillingness to confess. We cling to our own weaknesses, our own errors, our own wrongdoings as yours. The sense of me is very strong there. It sort of makes us go in tangent, astray. From the path of truth. Because no one is saying that one is responsible. Then if one is not responsible, who is responsible? Confusion is the responsible. Confusion that exists in the one's mind is the responsible. But you are making that confusion as you. So see, you're getting distracted. You're going off. Still, the truth remains as a truth. Confusion is the responsible to create any negativities, to create any wrongdoings. So why not just let the confusions be responsible rather than make that confusion as yourself? When we cling to confusion as me and mine and ignorant as me and mine, then there's no way to purify the ignorant. There's no way to purify the confusions. You're defending the ignorant, you're defending the confusions. So, the whole method of a confession is to not possess this confusion as yours. Not possess this ignorant as yours. Let that confusions be confusions and confess that confusion. Let that ignorant be ignorant and confess that ignorant. And not come in defense of that ignorant, not come in defense of that confusions as you yourself. So, you have to have a sense of a kind of different self. That sense of a different self is self that is aware of the confusions. Self that is aware of the ignorant. Not the old, usual, reactive self. One has to. When that old, usual, reactive self comes up, you have to be able to self-reflect and distance oneself from that, and then able to sort of, see that as a part of the confusions. See that as a part of the ignorant. And then, as a part of the confusion, as a part of the ignorant, confess that. So when we do that, there's nothing better like a detergent to wash a greasy dish. You need a tough detergent to wash it off. Otherwise, the grease will stick on the container. when you are able to confess like that, there's nothing better than that detergent to cleanse your heart. It cleanses from within. When one can honestly, confess it that way, it really cleanses from the deep within and makes that heart, very pure. So that power is an incredible power. That power is called power of regret, not power of guilt. Because the guilt has that sense of self, clinging, That guilt always dreams or wishes that things had not had happened, rather than living up to what things has already happened and confessing it. So there's a difference between power of regret, as I said, and confessing. Power of regret with the confessing has a, effects of cleaning the heart from inside and making the heart very pure. Power of guilt sort of becomes a pebble in the heart. Icy pebble in the heart. And the more you feel guilty, the more you actually going to have a harder time to confess. If you could actually confess that with the power of the regret and confess it in this way, you here as an awareness that sees the confusions as a confusions and ignorant as a ignorant, and self that was present in a kind of a instinctively clinging as in a part of that confusion. That's a Tsulji might be inaccurate way of perceiving. And then if one can confess that, there's nothing that one cannot actually as a detergent. There's nothing that cannot be cleansed. Nothing is intrinsic there that will remain there forever. So Kongtrül Rinpoche says, one of the reasons why we are held back from our progress in the path is because of we are not able to confess deeply enough. This attachment to the self and defending the self and not seeing that self itself is the part of the confused mind and the ignorant mind. This is what the reason is. And I really do feel that way. The more you get sort of this, almost from the core, little, disturbed as you are confessing, that's very thing that you need to confess furthermore. That is the reaction of the confusion or the self. As you confess, that unnerving comes. If one can bring awareness to that and one can confess that, then as that tightening is loosened and that tightening becomes purified, one feels that sense of peace and sense of relief and sense of the clean heart. Furthermore,